What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, the two new upcoming packages. Part one, the physical infrastructure package, which is $1.2 trillion, and part two, the next stimulus package, which has been announced that will be $3.5 trillion and is now being worked on in the Senate. In fact, today has been a very busy day for the Senate, as we're going to go over the details in this video. They have passed two different votes in the Senate. That's correct. Not one, but two different votes in the Senate. That's right, you heard me correct. We're going to go over the details in this video. I actually have some very, very good news and some very, very bad news to give you in this video. This is one of those videos you're going to want to watch all the way till the end. Yeah. In fact, I'm torn on what I should start with, the good news or the bad news. I think we'll start with the good news. So yeah, let's start with the good news. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. Remember, I keep you updated with everything stimulus related. This next stimulus package will be $3.5 trillion or somewhere around there. They're negotiating on it right now. Remember that the third stimulus check package was only $1.9 trillion and had the largest stimulus package yet to date, or the largest stimulus checks, I should say, yet to date, at $1,400 per person. And in addition to that, had the child tax credits at $3,000 to $3,600 per child per year, but those end at this year. That was in addition to the $1,400 stimulus checks. And this next stimulus package is $3.5 trillion, almost twice the size of that. But remember, the child tax credits end at the end of this year. This next package is almost twice the size of that. And they're saying in this next package will be a continuation of the child tax credits, and there will be adult tax credits in this next package. That could be the code name for a fourth stimulus check. That also could just be monthly checks for adults in this next package. And there's plenty of money in this next package at $3.5 trillion for pretty much everything in the kitchen sink. So let's jump right in. We're going to start with the good news. Then we'll get to the bad news. And we'll discuss the two different votes that passed today in the Senate. Actually, extremely good news for the good news part, at least. I was actually very impressed on how fast they're moving in this process, at least for today. I mean, most of the time I'm not impressed on how fast they move in the Senate or the House. I mean, it's Congress. Most of the time they're moving at a snail's pace, but today I was impressed. Okay, number one, the first vote that passed was, well, the first one. I don't know if I could say the big one. I guess it was the big one. The Senate passes the bipartisan infrastructure bill, as you can see right here. The first vote of today, the roughly $1.2 trillion infrastructure package, is the central piece of the, well, what we call the part one of the deal. And yeah, it passed with a vote of 69 votes yes to 30 votes no. You can see here with 19 Republicans, including Senate Minority Mitch McConnell, joining all 50 Democrats to pass the bill, 69 votes to 30 no's. So all 50 Democrats voted yes, and 19 Republicans also voted yes. So 69 yeses. They needed 60 yeses total, and they got a total of 69 yeses to pass part one of the infrastructure bill, the physical infrastructure bill. It will now go on to the House, which they're not going to vote on it immediately. The House is going to pause on that. They're going to vote on it at a later date. They're now moving on with part two, the next stimulus package, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. Which kind of leads me to where we are next. I was very, very surprised at how quickly this happened. Now, remember, as I've kind of been, giving you guys the details, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Bernie Sanders, who's the Senate Budget Chairman, the person who is largely considered in charge of this next stimulus package, the $3.5 trillion package, Part 2, also known as the American Families Plan, said that they would be voting on the next stimulus package pretty much right after. But when they said right after, I mean, most of the time we consider, right after is, yeah, they'd probably get to it, a few days later, they'd start the motions. Well, in this case, they literally meant right after. As you can see here, Senate votes to begin debate on the Democrats' $3.5 trillion budget resolution. They actually started the voting process today, right after the infrastructure vote. Yeah, they had the first vote on the stimulus package today. As you can see here, fresh off a bipartisan infrastructure victory, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer moved swiftly on Tuesday to advance the Senate Democrats' $3.5 trillion budget resolution, aka the reconciliation process, aka the next stimulus package, with the Senate voting 50 yeses to 49 noes to begin debate. So again, this is the first part of the voting process. Remember, just like the infrastructure package, there will be several different votes along the way. It's not just a one-shot vote. There will be several different votes along the way. There will be an amendment process along the way. And just as expected, all 50 Democrats voted yes, and 49 Republicans voted no. There was one Republican that just didn't take part of the voting process. So again, the 50 votes means that it passed. And if there was a 50, if all 50 Republicans were there, then the vice president would have stepped in to break the tie and be the 51st vote. But because it wasn't a 50-50 tie, the vice president did not have to step in to break the tie. So basically, it moved forward with a simple majority vote. So again, just as expected, all 50 Democrats voted yes, all the Republicans voted no, and they actually started the voting process literally here the same day on the stimulus package. So wow, this is actually amazing, amazing news. Even I did not expect them to move this fast. I mean, we all know that this stuff takes time. This is moving much, much faster than even I expected. Now, let me fill you guys in on a little bit of details here. They voted to basically start the process. There's no bill. Okay, there's no bill written. This is very similar to, if you guys have been watching the show every episode here, this is exactly how the infrastructure process started. Initially, when the infrastructure started, remember the Republicans voted no on that when there was no bill. And then eventually they negotiated a little bit, and then the Republicans voted yes, even when they didn't have a bill. Okay, and they actually started the process, and then they had a couple yes votes throughout the process. And then they finally, like 3/4 of the way through, introduced the bill. Okay, so even though they have started the debate process, there's no bill written. Okay, they're probably going to go a couple votes in until they write the bill. Okay, and honestly, I don't know at what point they're going to write the bill, because honestly, there's going to be some negotiations parts between the Democrats. Now, remember, they're going to pass this entire bill without the Republicans. The Republicans are going to vote no through the entire process. We kind of knew this way, way ahead of time. In fact, not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package. I don't know why. I don't choose sides, but this is just kind of a known fact, okay? Not a single Republican voted yes on the third stimulus check package. Not a single Republican is going to vote yes on this package either. Republicans voted yes on stimulus packages right up until President Biden took office. In fact, they voted yes on the second stimulus check package when Republicans controlled the Senate back in December on the second stimulus check package in December, and when President Trump was president in December. But literally when Biden came in January, all of a sudden they were no longer for stimulus. So December they were for stimulus, but January they're like no more stimulus. So I don't know, it kind of seems political to me that they were for stimulus in December, but not for stimulus in January. But I guess it really doesn't matter, because Democrats are going to pass this stimulus either way. Okay. Republicans are going to try to fight it and try to block it and do everything they can. But Democrats are most likely, probably 99% chance, going to pass this without them, no matter what they do. Very, very similar to what happened with the third stimulus check package. In fact, here is Senator Bernie Sanders, the person who is in charge of this next stimulus package, to kind of fill you in on how this is going to go down.
Madam President, my Republican colleagues are upset that we are using the reconciliation process and only 50 votes to pass this budget. They're very upset about that. But let us be clear. This idea of using reconciliation is certainly not a new idea. When Republicans controlled the Senate, they used reconciliation to pass trillions of dollars in tax breaks to the top 1% and large corporations. When Republicans controlled the Senate, they used reconciliation to make climate change worse by opening up the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil drilling. When Republicans controlled the Senate, they tried to use reconciliation to repeal the Affordable Care Act and throw 32 million Americans off of the health care they had. Well, today it is true. We will also use reconciliation, but we will do it in a different way. We will use it to help the working families of our country and not just the wealthy and the powerful. Madam President, it is no great secret that millions of Americans are giving up on democracy, are moving toward authoritarianism, and are losing faith in their government. Many of those people are working longer hours for lower wages. They can't afford health care. They can't afford to send their kids to college, and they worry very much about the future of their kids and the future of this country. This legislation will not only provide enormous support, unprecedented in recent American history, to the children in our country, to the parents in our country, to the elderly people in our country, to the working families of our country, but it will also, I hope, restore the faith of the American people in the belief that we can have a government that works for all of us and not just the few.
Now remember, Senator Bernie Sanders is largely considered the deal maker in this infrastructure, this part two infrastructure package, the human infrastructure package, aka the American Families Plan, aka the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. It has a lot of different names. The social infrastructure package literally has like 10 different names. Both of these packages are part of the Build Back Better package. Like I said, literally about 10 different names. It's also called the Anti-Poverty Plan or the Anti-Poverty Package. Again, you could let me know what you think is going to end up in this anti-poverty package. They have kind of told us some things, that there's going to be probably an extension of the child tax credit, those monthly checks coming from the government. There's also probably going to be adult tax credits, which we don't really know what that's going to mean, but we know that tax credits are basically money from the government, and will go to adults, whether that's going to be on a tax return or they're going to come out in advance as stimulus checks. Remember, stimulus checks themselves are actually tax credits. So whether that's in the form of a fourth stimulus check or it's going to come out in monthly checks like the child tax credits are, we don't know. Remember that Bernie Sanders is part of the 28 lawmakers from the Senate alone, which there's only 50 Democrats in the Senate, that are actually for monthly recurring stimulus checks. Yeah, so over half of the Democrats in the Senate are for monthly recurring stimulus checks. So now is the time to make your voice heard and let Senator Bernie Sanders, let Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, let your representatives know that, yeah, they need to include these things in this next package. There's over 80 different Democrats that want a fourth stimulus check to be included in this next package. The Democrats are the one that said this. I mean, you could look up the headlines. I mean, I literally have dozens and dozens and dozens of these headlines here. So yeah, they've even been for monthly recurring stimulus checks, as high as $1,000 monthly recurring stimulus checks, or even $2,000 monthly recurring stimulus checks. And in fact, President Joe Biden has said that he's open to a fourth stimulus check, apparently, and that if they want to include it that Congress can include it in this next package if they want to. Well, guess what? We literally have dozens and dozens and dozens of Democrats that want this in this next package. So feel free to remind your congressmen, congresswomen that don't forget you need to include it in this next package. And this next package is the largest package ever at $3.5 trillion. So don't forget about the most important thing, the fourth stimulus check, in addition to the child tax credits, the adult tax credits, and everything else. Because again, it's not the smallest stimulus package, it's the largest stimulus package ever at $3.5 trillion. So there's plenty of money to include everything in there. Now, don't let me forget about the bad news, because I did say I would mention the bad news. Yeah. Yesterday, there was 235,000 new people that tested positive. Check this out. 235,000 new people tested positive for the virus yesterday. Wow. Oh my gosh. 235,000. You can just go to Google and just type this in. U.S. COVID cases yesterday. 235,000 people. Oh my God. August 9th. Yeah. Now let's compare this to August 9th of last year. August 9th of last year, we had 48,000 people test positive. 48,000. August 9th of last year. August 9th of this year, 235,000 people. Wow. That's like more than 4 times more people. And this is with 70% of the United States having been vaccinated with at least one shot, and over 60% of the United States being fully vaccinated. Yeah, this Delta variant is no joke. The CDC says it's more than twice as contagious. And yeah, look at this exponential curve here. This exponential curve, I don't think I'm in the way here in the corner. This exponential curve is no joke. No joke. We're getting near an all-time high that we had over the winter here. The all-time high was 300,000 new cases that we had in January. And I don't want to scare anybody, but I'm just here to report to you guys what's going on in our country and around the world. There are lockdowns going on all across the world. Australia has literally been on lockdown for weeks. As you can see here, Australia expands its lockdown as Sydney records its highest daily case count. They've been on lockdown for weeks. China is under a strict lockdown. Millions of people. I think it's over 20 different cities. Literally, multiple different countries are under lockdown. And the U.S. literally just hit over 200,000 new cases in one day. Yeah. I mean, I just have headlines after headlines. Yeah. Arkansas nearly out of ICU beds as Delta variant fuels new cases. Yeah. Governor Greg Abbott announces mitigation measures as hospitals to postpone elective procedures in Texas. Florida breaks record for new daily cases for the 3rd time this week. Hospitalizations have increased at record-breaking levels for 6 consecutive days, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. Yeah, I think it's one thing to say that it's not going away anytime soon. Luckily, I can't even say luckily, at least the largest stimulus package ever is being voted on now. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a process. They're going to have, again, as you know, the infrastructure was a little bit of a process, but at least they started the voting today. I was actually surprised on that. I mean, the infrastructure package, they literally finalized it in the Senate, and then they immediately went to voting on it today. So, yeah, I was shocked. I was really shocked that my wife told me that. I was like, wow, really? So, I mean, good for them. At least they're actually, and don't forget, they worked Saturday and Sunday last week, and they worked Saturday and Sunday this week. So I think they've worked like 20 days straight. So again, not that I'm giving them a pat on their back, but at least they're working. So, which is something out of the norm, right? So they've worked 20 days straight. They haven't had any days. Not that I get any days off either. I'm here 7 days a week with you guys, 3 days a week, bringing you guys the latest news. So Yeah, we're moving. We're getting somewhere. They have passed Part 1, the physical infrastructure package, which will provide billions and billions of dollars for all 50 states. It's only passed in the Senate. It has to go to the House as well. But remember, the conditions is they have to pass the stimulus package as well in the Senate as well, which they have now passed the first part of it. It's just kind of part one of the full stimulus package is not passed. Okay, just want to make that clear. If you're following along here, they passed it in parts. Okay, it's kind of part one of the full stimulus package. There's going to be several different votes. They're going to go through an amendment process where they're going to kind of add things in and take things out and see what's going to kind of be added in. And if you've been following along, you kind of know this, but I kind of like to explain this so everybody's on the same page here. So they've started the voting process on the next stimulus package, if that makes sense. So I will keep you up to date with everything. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share this video with your friends and family and let them know that the largest stimulus package ever is literally being voted on right now and they're working on it. So I will keep you up to date. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how there could be a $4,000 stimulus possibly in this next stimulus package. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.